right.
This is inside the actor's studio. We don't fake tears here. It's still fake. What middle school did you go to, Dave?
Arthur E. Morgan Middle School, which no longer exists. And that's in Yellow Springs. It was, I guess, right after my last year in elementary school, my mom moved us, like before we lived right on the outskirts of Washington, on the dividing line.
Yeah.
Then Mom moved us in the Northwest. We moved to D.C., man, and it was like the neighborhood was wild, and I was just at that age where I would want to start running the streets,
right,
so to speak. So my mom sent my brother and I to live with my father in Yellow Springs.
I see.
4,500 people. Maybe now there's like 3,700 people in that town. So.
And all of them slightly different from the rest of the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a hippie town. My dad at the time was involved in some like human rights group that was dedicated to ending racism. But it's a small town, so racism is a relative term. Hating black people would mean I hate like 25 people in the town. You know what I mean?
How old were you when your parents separated?
My parents split up when I was 2. And I don't remember them married.
What high school did you attend in Washington?
Duke Ellington School of the Arts. Well, first I went to Eastern High School for half of a school year. I transferred to Duke Ellington. See, this is the thing. When I came back from Ohio, like I left when I was like 10, almost 11. I came back when I was 13, going on 14. While I was gone, crack had come out. So I got like a before and after. It was like a crack bomb had gone off. Like D.C. during the crack epidemic was probably one of the worst cities in America. Definitely was the murder capital. My freshman year of high school, 560 kids my age murdered. It's heavy, man, you know. Everybody I knew sold cracks. Only God knows how many people were smoking crack. And that made a real big impression on me. That and the fact that D.C. is a very segregated city, especially at that time. Statistically speaking, to this day, statistically speaking, there's not one poor white person in Washington. There's a lot of poor black people in Washington. So these are the things that I'm seeing, and I didn't like that shit, man. I didn't like going to Eastern. So I was going through a real tough time, man, like just readjusting. And my mom bought me this Time magazine with Bill Cosby on the cover, Cosby Inc. Me and the guy had a lot of stuff in common, like some of the quotes he would say. And I just remember, like after reading that stuff, I put it down, and it was like, I'm going to be a comedian. And man, I'm telling you, I could see it so clearly. So clearly, man. This is it. I was so excited. I told my family, I have an announcement to make. I'm going to be a comedian. You know, it was like real. Because I was always funny. I'm the youngest kid. You know, the youngest kid in the family usually plays that role of the tension breaker.
Right.
I was that dude. And that's when my mom suggested that maybe I go to a comedy club and check it out. Live comedy is the most incredible thing in the world to me. Like the first time you see a dude just standing there talking, every joke he's saying just hitting, it was working. Every weekend I would go, I'd get a little money, and to the point they started knowing me, I'd just sit in the crowd and I'd just be watching. And then on Tuesdays they had an open mic, and I go on Tuesdays to see why people weren't working. Weekends were to see why people were working. Tuesday I was figuring out what's wrong with these people? To watch a comedian bomb is one of the greatest things in the world. I love it. And then at that point, I was talking to a comedian after one of the shows, and the owner of the comedy club, and they were both saying, you know, if you want to be a good comedian, you got to take acting classes. And they didn't explain it. But after that, I went home and I said, Mom, I got to take acting classes. And that's how the Duke Ellington thing started.
That's a school of the arts, right?
Yeah.
And what did you study there?
Theater. The school is incredible. Classical acting, modern acting, improvisation, technical theater, script analysis, script writing.
Did you work while you were in school in Washington?
Yeah, okay. Let's run down the list. My first job, summer, between 87 and 88 school year.
This is a tradition. The first person in the 11 and a half years of this series who ever smoked on stage was Sean Penn, and the students applauded him then. Tonight you light up a cigarette, the students say, what do you got about cigarettes? You like cigarettes? They applaud when you smoke.
I don't know about y'all, but this is stressing me out. I feel like I'm confessing and stuff. There's certain things feel like I'm on trial in this one. Tell me about that thing. I mean, you know, I don't know. I was a child and it's all so wild, Mr. Lipton. All right, so, the first job, and remember, this is when people were making a lot of money selling drugs. $3.50 an hour. August, I had to dress up in a cookie costume. Not bullshitting, with a cookie costume with chocolate chips and a big chocolate chip on my head, sweating, and I had to hand out flyers for this place called the Cookie Bag. When I started at Duke Ellington, it was like you go to school from 8 o'clock in the morning till at least 5 o'clock at night. So work stopped for a while, and then, you know, that nightclub thing kicked in. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of white kids, you got things accessible to you like therapy. We don't have that. We have liquor stores and weed.
Autobiographical?
Still don't talk about myself.
It isn't.
It's yes, but never directly. I don't want to give away my secret recipe. But originally my plan was I'll go to school, and then after I graduate, I'll start stand-up. But then I was like, I'm going to the club after school. It's Tuesday, so I'm going to go to that open mic night. I had been practicing with the candlestick in the mirror. I felt like I was ready. And I told my family I was going. Told my mom, you know, I'm going. I don't want you to come. I'm going to go by myself. It's something I got to do and whatever, whatever. So, of course, she shows up with my grandmother and my brother. The MC introduced me. I can remember the introduction. You know, folks, everybody's got to start sometime, and tonight is this young man's first time on stage. Who knows? Exactly what it says. Who knows? You may be witnessing the birth of a star. Please welcome Dave Chappelle. And I went up there, man, and I was scared. And I used to look at my feet when I started. And I said the first joke, looking down at my feet, and they laughed. And then I looked up, like, holy. And then I looked back down at my feet and said, no. And after the set, you know, the crowd was going crazy. I think I did 2.5 minutes, but they were going crazy. I was 14, probably looked like I was 11. I was telling jokes about Jesse Jackson running for president and Alf's spaceship landing in a black neighborhood.